Today, India needs more friends and more influence. We are Vishwamitra, but we need a better network. We want to bring understanding and a coalition of our core interests. That is the aim. Better opportunity to develop and reform international institutions to give us space. Seek multipolarity, most important, multipolar. We can't afford a bipolar world unless we are a pole, but we are not there yet. Reduce dependencies, build partnerships. We are currently in a stage of transition, but I think we all overemphasize this. Transitions happen in every age. When I was a young officer, there was a transition. What is happening now is the pace of change is very rapid, and that requires deft diplomacy. Navigating change, besides deft diplomacy, requires an exhibition of power. But often, our responses struggle because these come under compulsion and not out of choice. We are struggling with decisions of the past which we had no role in. The US opening to China in 1972, the decision to admit China into the WTO, and then suddenly this pandemic. These are not something which all these actually have contributed to deglobalization, which is not in our favor because we invested a lot in globalization. So now, since 2008, we are looking at rebalancing, and remember 2010, we come into the G20 as a power of our own, and we are now leveraging that. I think that is the organization we are leveraging the most right now. The Indo-Pacific and Quad are positives. There are about 8 plurilaterals that India is a part of. I think the Quad and the Indo-Pacific concept are perhaps going currently in our favor. With Japan, our relationship was always good, getting better. But thanks to the Quad and the pivot towards Indo-Pacific, our relationship with Australia and the US has acquired regional strategic dimension. I emphasize regional. These are not global partnerships. Europe initiative, which we had undertaken about 6-7 years ago, badly hit by the Ukraine crisis. I mean, not of our making, but what we had done, Russia as a pole, Europe as a pole, suddenly all cracking up. The West Asia initiative, the India, Middle East corridor, badly impacted by the government. All important to us, not going according to our plan. Surge in re-globalization, using plurilaterals, is, I think, the Indian policy today. Keep looking for multipolarity. Keep looking for more globalization, re-globalization, what we call. And why I say re-globalization? Because connectivity, resilient supply chains, digital tech, critical minerals are all new vocabulary. Even 6 years ago when I retired, not all of these were diplomatic terms. Today they are on the top of our agenda because we are trying to leverage the world on these to create a role for ourselves. Legal migration and skilling are major objectives of Indian policy today. Major. You see, with almost everybody, we are negotiating migration and mobility pacts. India has 2,000 global capability centers. Just now somebody was talking about around the Noida airport, how the Americans, there are 2,000 tech global compatibility centers in India. German, Japanese, everybody is there. Slightly unseen, but they are training people and they are being employed by these companies in India. But these same people can go abroad. It is for them that we want those legal migration routes. And that is why today migration has become a very important part of Indian foreign policy. But besides this, diaspora issues are there. We have leveraged the diaspora for our ends. Today, in certain countries, the diaspora is becoming an albatross around our necks. We are not able to deal with it cogently. we need to rethink how to engage them and how to get them to be more responsible and responsive. Finally, our approach to Global South, including development cooperation. So from 1950, development cooperation is the core of India's foreign policy. My last book was on development cooperation with Africa. But this is not treated with any great importance. But today when we talk Global South, please remember, this talk of Global South emanates from our successful development cooperation policy with Africa, ASEAN, Central Asia, to an extent Latin America. This is also visible in our neighborhood first policy. Now these sound like words, but frankly, I think in Indian foreign policy today, Global South and neighborhood first are focused policy, but these are unilateral approaches. Nobody asked us, we took them. And we now seek partnerships without reciprocity in kind, but we want goodwill in return. And that I go back to what I said first, Vishwamitra with good networks. I think that is what India is in the geopolitics of today. Thank you.
Sir, how